What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king. Welcome back to more Let's Play Pokemon White. In the last episode, we took down Bryson, the leader of the Iceris City Gym. Then, as we departed, we ran into Charon and Bianca. But more importantly than that, we ran into the Shadow Triad, who have instructed us that Team Plasma is up in Dragonspiral Tower, which is directly north of here. Now, we're going to be pursuing them in this episode. But before I do anything, first things first, I need to do a little bit of item spending here and a bit of item culling. We got all these different vitamins and things like that, and also rare candies that I can spend. And I'm actually going to be doing a lot of rare candy dumping here in just a second. But first things first, let's get rid of all these. So I'm going to actually put both of these proteins into Bathory really quickly, as well as I'm going to probably put one of these irons into Lumiette, and then I'm going to put another one into Shelob. Then I'm going to do a calcium for the special attack raise and use that on... I'm going to go with Shelob for that one as well. And then we got our Carbos for speed, and that's going to go also into Lumiette. All right, that is pretty much all the vitamins I'm going to use. Now, these 5 rare candies, I'm going to put all these to use here in just a minute. However, as we proceed along, I just want to let me actually check Bathory's experience and how close she is to evolving. Okay, so 1301 experience. As soon as I can get her to level up, then I'm going to be dumping all the rare candies into her, and she's going to be doing a lot of battling. But for right now, let's proceed up ahead and look who it is. Oh, Levi, and you must be Bianca. I'm the other Professor Juniper. The Professor Juniper who gave you the Pokedex is my daughter. Nice to meet you, Professor. Thanks to Professor Juniper, I got to go on a journey and start figuring out possibilities for my life. I'm very, very grateful to her. Is that right? Grand, grand. Actually, we should chat later. Levi, Bianca, here's the situation. Some members of Team Plasma, quite a large group, broke through the tower wall and went inside. Bryson and that young man, I believe his name is Charon, the two of them went after Team Plasma. But, Professor, what's the Dragonspiral Tower? Ha! I guess you should be curious. Well, I'll explain briefly. Dragonspiral Tower has stood tall since long before Unova was founded. On the top floor, the legendary Dragon-type Pokemon waits for a person seeking truth to appear. That's what is said. Are you going to go after Team Plasma like your friend did? It's admirable of you to join the fight against Team Plasma, but it's risky too. Don't worry. Levi and Charon are both really, really strong, and they've beaten Team Plasma before. But I'm not all that strong, actually. I admit it. I'm not very strong, so I was thinking it would be nice if maybe I could stay here and be your bodyguard? Why, thank you. That makes me feel much safer. Well, Levi, it's up to you. Climb the tower. This is all I can give you, but it might help you rest. And we get an old Gateau, which is another little helpful item that I also believe is basically just a full heal. Still, what could Team Plasma be after? Let me actually verify that before I go any further. And also, by the way, I mixed up the Rage Candy Bar. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. I mixed up the Rage Candy Bar with the old Gateau. The Rage Candy Bar only heals the HP by 20 points. Honestly, there's no point in using any of these things. They're nice little novelties that you might as well just hold on to. Why would you ever use an old Gateau when you can use a full heal? Why would you ever use a Rage Candy Bar when you can use literally any other potion in the game? These are just kind of there to be cute little additional novelty items that are sort of one of a kind. And that's really it. They're just souvenirs more than anything. But as we head on in towards Dragonspiral Tower, we got a Team Plasma right here. Earlier, the gym leader went up the tower. If you're lucky, you might witness a legend. So welcome to Dragonspiral Tower. Again, like I said, we're actually going to be going into the tower in a bit, but there's actually some additional trainers that we can battle before we go on inside. And I'm going to be doing a little bit of surfing, but first things first, I need to use a max repel here because there is a new Pokemon that can be gotten in this particular area right here in the water, and that is Basculin. Basculin is a water-type Pokemon that doesn't evolve. It has bad defenses and simply above-average attack and speed, and that's all there is to say. Especially for something that you can't get until so much later in the game. This just might be the worst water-type option in the whole game, making it even worse than the Ducklet line due to its single typing. The only truly amazing thing about this Pokemon is the fact that it learns Head Smash upon reaching level 56. But that one fact aside, I very much do not recommend using one of these on your team. And that's not going to be it for all of the bios in this episode, because we're going to be talking about more once we go on inside. A couple of them can actually be got here at the entrance, but we'll focus on it more once we actually enter the area. Let's battle this first trainer here. There's 2 ace trainers in this area, as well as a couple of items that we can grab. I probably should actually pull out the dowsing machine before I go too crazy here, but let's begin. All right, so first up we got Ace Trainer Jessie with a Vanillish. Very easy for Bathory. For Lumiette to deal with, not for Bathory. My goodness. Don't worry though. She is, like I said, she's going to get her time to shine here in this episode in just a minute. Don't you worry. Like I said, I'll pump all those rare candies, and that should be more than enough to get her to evolve into Fracture. So there we go. And then we got a Galvantula, so let's definitely still keep Lumiette out for this one. Perfect Pokemon to be going up against this. And I can also take the experience share off of Bathory after the fact, which is also pretty darn exciting. There we go. And a critical hit for good measure. It's a nice experience. Bathory hits level 34. And there we go. Ace Trainer Jessie has been defeated. Now, let's use all of these rare candies, just all of them, on Bathory. I don't mind even holding... I don't even want to hold on to a single one all the way to level 39, even though level 38 is where she evolves. Taunt, not a move I'm going to be learning. Just a move that makes it so that Pokemon will always use offensive moves. It doesn't even really make sense for a Pokemon like Bathory to waste a turn on that because, I mean, she's not even a very defensive Pokemon. But here we are. Now, one thing I really do like about this line is that it doesn't take too long between evolutions. Like, you catch Axew in the 30s no matter what you do. It gets to Fracture at level 38, and then it gets to its next evolution at level 48. Now, while that is still a pretty high evolutionary requirement based on previous games, in this game, it's really not so bad. So, there we go. Level 39, last rare candy. Now, let's use a couple of TMs here before I go any further. So there's a lot of these sorts of moves, Shadow Claw and the like, and we also got X-Scissor, and there was Poison Jab, and little interesting moves that none of our other Pokemon really have a whole lot of access to that Bathory is able to learn. And now I am going to be teaching her X-Scissor, even though we do already have a bug type just for the physical difference. I'm going to get rid of Scary Face for that. Dragon Claw and Dragon Dance are going to stay. Not going to get rid of those. And then for the other move, I am going to go with Poison Jab, because being able to actually poison a Pokemon is pretty nice, not to mention the fact that it hits really freaking hard. So there we go. We'll take those. I may end up switching out X-Scissor for Shadow Claw a little bit later on. I'm not exactly 100% sure on that. I don't think it's going to be super necessary because I've already got, you know, the highest special attack ghost type there is. So I don't know yet, but we'll see. Now let's switch out the experience share for the lucky... Well, I'm actually going to keep the lucky egg on Lumiette for this last fight, and then I'll switch it out. Let me make sure I've also got, this going. We got TM63 Embargo, which is a move that prevents opponents from using items for an entire... I was going to say, what, 4 or 5 turns, I think is what it is, but that's also pretty darn nice. I believe it's anything but healing items, if I'm not mistaken. I think they can still heal, but that might be it. Anyway, we're back to Cubchoo's again in their Endures. Luckily, it didn't happen too many times before, but it wouldn't surprise me if this one uses it, and it didn't. Wow. Very shocking. Feels like they're like defaulted to that move if they have the opportunity and they're going up against something that's super effective. Okay, next is Darmanitan, Fire-type Pokemon. So let's actually switch on over to Crush. This Darmanitan is going to have a Fighting-type move, but it doesn't have the same type attack bonus, so it shouldn't be too bad to deal with. Even if it lands with Hammer Arm, I think we should mostly be okay. Granted, it's more of a physical defensive Pokemon, so I'm going to use Surf. Also, it's going to use Belly Drum, which is going to make it even easier to knock it out. Belly Drum cuts the HP in half, but fully maxes out its attack, so if it does land a hit, that's going to hurt a lot, but Surf should more than take care of the problem. There we go. So down you go. Nice bit of experience. And then we got Levani. All right, let's definitely do a switch here. I mean, Lumiette just makes the most sense since she's already got the Lucky Egg on her just so that she can maximize that experience. I could have also gone with Naz, for instance, but he'll get time a little bit later. Let's just use that Flame Burst. Of course, Levani is a little bit faster, which is a bit of an issue, but not that it does too much damage. And down you go. And Lumiette is going to love this experience. 2,823. Heck yeah. Oh, engorge yourself on that, girl. Thank you very much. All right. Now, with all of that done, we can finally head on into Dragonspiral Tower after we grab this last item, and we can start making our way up. So let's grab this item that is against the rocks, another heart scale, and then we can finally head on inside. Let's do that. Now, as soon as we get to this first area, I want to stop and take the time to talk about a few more new Pokemon that are worth discussing in here. In Dragonspiral Tower, as well as outside, you can also get access to Druddigon, Golett, and Mienfoo. Druddigon is a pure Dragon-type Pokemon that does not evolve. It has very good defenses on top of a nicely synergizing ability in Rough Skin, plus a good attack stat. But its speed stat is very poor. Its stats don't seem the most amazing, but if you can get it with its alternate ability in Sheer Force and stack the deck with moves that have bonus effects like Bulldoze and Crunch, it hits like a truck. But the biggest problem with this Pokemon is the fact that Haxorus exists. There's really no reason to pick up a Druddigon when Haxorus is in the game, as Haxorus is just better in every way. The only reason I can think is the need for a solid Dragon type immediately rather than later, which is probably something you don't need. It is one of the better Monotype Pokemon due to its stats, ability, and learn set, but Haxorus is just so much stronger. And more than that, there's an even better Dragon type waiting for you sometime later. Golett is a ground and ghost type Pokemon that evolves into Golurk at level 43. This is a fairly well-rounded Pokemon with nice typing, 1 good ability out of 2 in Iron Fist, and stats that just work out very nicely, even if they aren't that impressive overall. That physical attack is good. The defenses and HP make this thing fairly sturdy, and while it isn't particularly speedy, it's fast enough that it's going to go before a good chunk of Unovan Pokemon who are designed around Trick Room strats. On top of all of that, it's probably the lowest evolutionary requirement you're going to find this late in the game, and is easier to train than the Litwick line. It's a low effort pick, but a solid one at that, just not nearly as powerful as something like Chandelure, obviously. Mienfoo is a pure fighting type Pokemon that doesn't evolve into Mienshao until level 50, which can be extremely daunting. But once you get it there, you are very richly rewarded with another one of the best physical sweepers around. With a speed of 105 and a base physical attack of 125, this thing is ridiculously good at replacing something like Sock or perhaps even Emboar. But that said, it's very frail on the defensive end, which makes sense. It's not like it dies to everything in one hit, like Excelgor does, but unless you're throwing it into 1 or 2 shot whatever it's up against, it's not worth using. It's just not built for long fights. Make it hit hard and get it out of there fast, which is really nice here in the main story. It can also learn just about everything you need out of it only 6 levels after evolving it, so there's a lot of good it's got going on. If you want a pure fighting type on your team, this might be your best option in the whole game, just keep in mind that evolution requirement is probably the worst one yet. A lot of extremely interesting Pokemon that are unfortunately gated until so late in the game, which I really do hate. I love Mienfoo and Mienshao, and I love the Golett line a lot as well. Druddigon's okay. It's kind of the worst Dragon-type line in the entire game, but I mean, it gets the job done for a Monotype, I suppose. Levi! What's up, Charon? You can walk on the fallen columns too. I'm going after Team Plasma. If you don't want to walk on the fallen columns, you could always bring a Pokemon with strength to get past that a lot easier, but I do not have that with me because I decided to leave Watchog elsewhere. Plus, I do need to get to some of these items as it is. So let's grab those. We got a Hyper Potion here. Let's take that, and then we will proceed up the columns, just like so. All right, it's amazing that you're not tripping and falling on all that, because that can't be sturdy or necessarily very level. There we go. We got a Stardust. Now, before I proceed any further, let me switch off my Lucky Egg onto Bathory, and she is going to be the star of the show for the remainder of this area. Go back into my items. There we go. And now we're all... I mean, man, this episode, it feels like we haven't even done all that much. No, we'll continue. We should be able to make it through this place pretty far if we keep going at the pace we're going at. There's a couple more items we're going to be grabbing in here as well. I'm going to put on another Max Repel. Before we start running into Team Plasma trainers, what we're going to do, there's an item all the way over there. Now, to get to it, you can take any, either the bottom or middle path. It really doesn't matter which one you take. You just can't take the top path. And you should be able to get over to this thing, no problem. There we go, Shiny Stone. But the only way to get to the stairs is through the bottom path. Now, Shiny Stone, an evolutionary item. We do not have any Pokemon that need the Shiny Stone, but that is something to have. It is the counterpart to the Dusk Stone, both introduced in Generation 4. Now, Levi, we'll hold them here. You go on ahead. This is nothing, but there sure are a lot of them. Oh, what a complete bother. Well, you two hang in there, and thanks for also taking care of those two that seem to just be spectating. However, as soon as we get to this guy, the battles begin, and we have a lot of Team Plasma members to fight our way through. But the goal is to at least get through all of the ones on this floor in this episode, if I can help it. So let's begin. All right, we're starting off with a Watchog. And I'm not going to be doing any like sweeping moves or anything. I'm going to mostly be relying on Dragon Claw unless something else benefits me a lot. So let's just get going with that first things first. The more levels I can get out of Bathory, the better. Super Fang, thank goodness that frickin' missed. Also, I love that she's faster. Oh my goodness, Watchdog is such a quick Pokemon, but that jolly nature coming in handy. I'm already so excited about that. And down goes the first Team Plasma Grunt. Let's continue. Got so many of these guys to get through, as is always the case. These frickin' sockheads. And they're PZs. What is the little Z symbol for? I mean, is that just a flourish? Is it just to look cool? I would imagine that's what it's for, but who's to really say? Now, an X Scissor should be more than enough to take this thing down, but I'm not going to be surprised if it uses a Fake Out. Let's just hope that this lands. Okay, there it is. The obligatory 1. Let's try that again. And the reason X Scissor only has 10 PP is because I replaced it with Hex, which was originally set at that at max. So if you're wondering why that happened, that's why. It's one of like the only ways that like discourages you from like using TMs in the middle of like a route and whatnot, but it's hardly a discouragement, honestly. It's an interesting mechanic. I don't even know why it's honestly a thing. I wonder if it's just an oversight, but whatever. It's not a huge deal. I like how all these guys have to have just like one Pokemon. It's really, really interesting. Couldn't at least throw a Scrafty out at this point? I mean, I guess Scrafty doesn't evolve until like, what, level 37 or something along those lines? Or Scraggy evolves at that level, excuse me, into Scrafty. But whatever. We'll just keep taking them out. Scraggy faints. We have a lot of I mean, this episode, the remainder of this episode and pretty much all of next episode is just going to be a lot of battles. So do bear with me as we just basically work on leveling up our team, getting all sorts of experience and whatnot. But I do have a lot of work to do still, so it is kind of important. All right, Liepard, here we go. It's probably going to be another Fake Out, I'm sure. This guy's actually got 2 Pokemon, though, which is a little bit more interesting. I'm still wondering if I am going to end up hitting a point where I am going to have to actually do a little bit of grinding. I mean, I know for a fact there is a point, but I'm hoping that's not until much later, not like within the next few episodes, which that would be a little unfortunate. Another Liepard, which means that I can't use the move that I wanted to use, so I'm going to switch to Shelob. Not going to even try brute forcing with Dragon Claw. Let's just let Shelob get a little bit of experience in here, and with that Torment now gone. And I will just use a plain old Signal Beam. Although, there it is. Another Fake Out. Basically free damage. I mean, I totally, it makes a lot more sense to me than something like Protect. I mean, the only turn you can use it is the first anyway, so yeah, it's the smart and the objectively correct move to make every single time, but let's continue. I can't remember if, I think this might be the last guy on this floor, but I'm not 100% on that. Let's see, how many do you have for me, sir? You got 3 this time. All right, we're starting to step it up a little bit. I think I'm actually going to go with a Dragon Dance to get the ball rolling here at the very beginning as opposed to using just a straight-up move. So why don't we do that really quickly? And then I'm assuming Watchdog's going to try something stupid like Super Fang here. Let's get all that up. Hyper Fang, even worse, actually. I would much rather have dealt with a Super Fang. Well, I guess in that instance it wouldn't have been. I didn't think that she was going to tank it so hard. I mean, her physical defenses are better than her special defenses, but still. That was actually pretty insane. All right, next is Scraggy. So it's kind of an amalgamation of all of the previous teams. I'm assuming the last Pokemon's going to be Liepard. Makes the most sense. Let's take you out. There we go. Another one down. And last but certainly not least, oh, it's Crocorock. Okay, not what I was expecting. With its ground and, ooh, that lowers my attack too. Well, I'm going to stick with Bathory here. I can't use X Scissor because it's not super effective because the ground offsets that. But, hey, we still one-shot it. So there we go. Good job, Bathory. This is what I'm talking about. Physical Sweeper. All right, we head down here. We got an item to grab. And that is a Dragon Fang. There is the Dragon-type move booster. Pretty all right. As we continue into the next area. Oh, what's this? Suddenly no trainers. What the heck? What's this all about? Well, let's just make our way through here and grab all these items as we go. Although I do want to make sure. I don't actually know if you can encounter any Pokemon in this room in particular, but I'm going to use a Max Repel just in case. Got a Starpy. I mean, I guess I probably should have tested it before I assumed, but take all this all the way over here. We're going to get down to this item next. We're just trying to grab all these before we proceed any further. Stardust. And now our last one is, if I'm not mistaken, I want to go through here, all the way over this way, drop down, like so. And there we are. And this also is the way to the stairs. So let's go and take that revive and continue. And see what we find up here. What do we got? We got more plasma grunts? Oh, we definitely do, from what I can tell. Burn, baby, burn. What? Sounds like something is on a rampage at the top of the tower. I mean, are they playing Disco Inferno up there? I honestly couldn't tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for this episode of Let's Play Pokemon White. I hope you all enjoyed this episode very, very much. In the next episode, we're going to climb to the very, very top of the tower and see what the heck all of that ruckus is about. With all that said, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this episode very, very much, and I will see you all in the next one.